Hello there. This is Ilise Benun of marketing-mentor.com, and welcome back to the next episode of Marketing Blueprints. Today we're looking at excellent examples of marketing smart homepages of agencies. And I'm going to be looking at three different things approximately. The positioning message on a homepage, the additional text that supports that message. Sometimes there's an image also that supports the message. And I really want to focus in on calls to action that guide the visitor, the ideal visitor, toward what you want them to do. So we're looking first at my homepage, marketing-mentor.com, and I'm using one of the techniques you'll see other examples of by asking a simple question that my best prospects will say yes to, can answer yes to. Is inconsistent marketing getting in the way of better clients and more money? If you can say yes to that, then you will want to stay and read on and explore, and you'll know that it's a good fit for you. So that's the kind of thing we're trying to do here with agencies. So let's look at the first one. Example number one is Bright Umbrella. This is Emily Lewis and Leah Alcantara, and they are a web agency, a partnership, and the niche that they have chosen is number 5 in my 10 possible niches. Number 5 is an umbrella niche, and I'll explain a little bit more as we look at this. So the first thing I want to focus on is their positioning statement. So you see here, bright ideas, real results, trusted partners to help you achieve your goals, and then 2 buttons to click on. So that opening positioning statement, as you can see, is for a general audience with the focus on what they do, what this agency does, and how. I find it simple, and it emphasizes what sets them apart from other web agencies, which is the idea that they're trusted partners and they focus on helping you achieve your goals. Now, the first 3 examples I'm going to show you are early in the path of narrowing. So that means they're going to be a little bit more general and trying not to alienate anyone. And as we look at more examples, you'll see that they get narrower and narrower. And that is usually a function of time and experience and reinforcement that you're moving in the right direction. So don't expect to be able to just focus immediately on the one niche or target market. So then they have additional text. If we scroll down, they've got some images to represent the kind of work they do. Clearly, it's web and digital. And then you see this additional text message, results-driven web solutions for nonprofits and businesses involved in education, social causes, and innovative entrepreneurship. And you'll notice that these are live links, nonprofits and education. Those link to specific targeted landing pages for each of those target markets. So that's one nice way to say we work with a couple different markets, but if you're in this market or this market and you want to know what we do for you, then you'll click there. I also want to call your attention to their process, which they've outlined here, their 6-step process. And they've got a little icon and a 1-word description of what it is: discovery, strategy, design, development, QA, and implementation. It's not that those steps in the process are all that unusual, but it's really important, especially for web design and development, because it's such a mystery to most clients that you explain and articulate a bit about the process you go through. Otherwise, they're going to think it's magic and they're not going to want to pay too much for it. So I like the way that if you mouse over, they have just 1 line about each step in that process. So you get a sense that there's something to it, right? It's not magic, as I said. And then the other thing I like here is we don't do cookie cutter. We focus on your unique brand, goals, and audience. Then we create custom strategic solutions that work the way you want. This mix of personality and practicality is our signature. So they're identifying it as their signature, and it gets results. So this is a nice combination of what the client or the ideal client here is looking for and what they bring to the table. And again, this idea of their signature personality and practicality. So then let's just, before we move on, look at one of these niched or targeted landing pages. And you see now this is all about nonprofits and what nonprofits are looking to do. And it's more text that goes into more detail with more specifics about that type of organization. And you can tell that this is just for nonprofits, and that means they have experience and they're focused on it and they care and they're trying to get the attention of those people. All right, example number 2 is George Costello Creative. And the positioning statement, this is actually a slider that has 5, let's see if I can grab them here, 5 positioning statements. So the first one is you want a team that communicates, is responsive, and respects confidentiality. So that's kind of general. You appreciate a team that can consider not only as a supplier, but a friend and a partner. Let's look at one more that's a little bit more specific. You demand a team with experience in your industry that you can trust. And I'll have you notice that for each of the you statements, they also have, let's go back to that one. They also have a response, essentially. Our creative director has 8 years in-house flavors and fragrance experience, F&F, that's short for flavors and fragrance, experience communicating, branding strategies, managing creative operations, and expanding business opportunities. So they're using the jargon for the industry that they're focused on. But as you'll notice, some of these you statements are also a little bit general. So you appreciate a team that you can consider not only as a supplier, but a friend and a partner. And so this is more general in an effort not to alienate others who may not be in the F&F industry. So I think that works nicely. And then third, I want to call your attention to the calls to action. There are actually 3 of them. Let's see, we see one right here, this connect. So it's not necessarily a pop-up box, but you can call it up. And this is a free widget where you can reach out to, in real time, the people behind the site, whether via email or phone. So that's a nice little friendly thing when they're available. And then if we scroll down into the footer, past the work, past the team, it says want to chat and then book an appointment, and that links directly to the calendar where you can schedule an appointment. So that's very nice and easy and convenient. So example number 3 is pulseforward.com. And this is also a partnership, but a partnership of a consultant and a designer. And they also have an umbrella niche. So that means that it's a couple different vertical industries under an umbrella because they have something that ties them together. So you'll see that as we get into it. So the positioning statement here is getting to the heart of purpose-driven organizations. So that is the umbrella, purpose-driven organizations. And that could be nonprofits, but it's actually more inclusive than nonprofits. It also speaks to for-profits with a mission and other social purpose enterprises, for example, B Corps or benefit corporations, which are relatively new. Then if you scroll down and you want to know more about what the heck that means, I love this. What if redesigning your website could improve your entire organization? And then they go on to talk about the connection between the deliverable, essentially, that they provide, which is a redesigned website, and the effect it has on the organization, on the fundraising of the organization, on the effectiveness of the board, on the engagement of the audience. And so this is the strategic aspect of their work coming into play. And it's manifested in more text than images, as you can see as you scroll down. And the next thing we see are a fork in the road, essentially. We can learn more about the people or the services. And the point I want to make here is that, of course, there are examples of their work further down, But the way they prioritize the information is a lot of text, a lot of ideas represented by the text. And the strategy, it's all about heart. We're all about heart from the inside out, with one little line, one liner here to talk about the goal or the end product of each of those separate areas. And then finally, I like this too. The contact form, if you scroll down, starts by saying partner with us. So that's just another way of communicating that they see their clients as partners, and that's the type of prospect that they're looking for, someone who is looking for a partner. And then all you have to do is fill out the form. But if you don't want to, you could send an email or pick up the phone. All right, now example number 4, and we are getting more toward the narrower niches, if you will, with the rest of these examples. And example number 4 is Fatcat Strategies. And I love this positioning question, actually. What if you could get an entire marketing department for less than one new hire? So this question not only speaks to the practical need of their ideal client, but also to their pocketbook. And this is exactly the question that's in the mind of their ideal client. Should we outsource or should we hire someone in-house? And the fact that this is their positioning message means that they really understand the way that their clients think, and those are the clients that they're looking for. If you are not asking yourself this question, then you're probably not a good fit because you're either too big or too small. So this is a really nice way to essentially weed out the people and the prospects who are not a good fit. Then for additional text, and this is really pretty much all text and ideas, they reinforce it. They go on to elaborate an entire marketing department for a flat monthly fee. Then they explain a little bit what that's involved and what the services, design and marketing services are. And then month after month, we've got you covered. So focusing on the benefits. So the rest of the text elaborates on this argument or question, which is raised in the positioning statement, and it explains why it makes more sense to hire them than try to find, I love this line right here, finding that one perfect person who has all the skills and experience required to fulfill those needs. They know it's extremely difficult. That's where we can help. So they're really making a very strong argument for exactly who they can help and how. And then the call to action is the next logical step. Again, you haven't seen any work. You could go look at it over here. But really, it's not so much about the work. It's about how they're going to solve your problem and answer that question. So it's kind of the next logical step. And they ask for the biggest marketing concern. They're not asking for a lot of information, just some priorities and your main problem. All right, example number 5 is Levinson Block. You can see the tagline here, marketing for public funded healthcare, very narrow and specific. And then big and bold positioning statement, we're a healthcare marketing agency that specializes in mid-size organizations. So this agency is far enough down the narrowing path, the specializing path, that they can proclaim their positioning in this literally big and bold way. And then to support that positioning statement, you scroll down and you see this slider. There are 3 options on the slider. One is a white paper that if you click on, you can go get it. The other is more content, a case study, healthcare content marketing, so very tied to the niche. And another case study, medical device branding and website. So all supporting the idea of strategy and thinking process, and we will help you. And then the call to action, the third simple section on the scrolling homepage. All it has is 3. Keep in touch, sign up for our e-news, only one field for your email address. But I love here that they give you some details about it. Our e-news is called Brandscape. It offers fresh perspectives for marketing directors on healthcare marketing. We publish twice a month. So who it's for, what you're going to get, how often you're going to get it. And if that's not enough, you can see their latest one right here. So you can really decide if it's for you. All right. And if you want to know who's on the team, you can look right there. There's actually one other case study that I kind of like, free tools. You don't see that very often. All right, more calls to action, brand competitive audit tool, a report, a website planner, more white papers. All right. And then, of course, let's talk, which takes you to a form to fill out. All right, moving on. All right, and this final example is Gorman 360, and you can tell just by looking at it that they focus on aerospace or aviation. It's actually both. And the positioning statement, a precision approach to building an aerospace brand. It's simple, it's focused, and it is clearly speaking to one target market. All right, then if you scroll down, just more support for that target market, the experience, and some specifics about the type of work they do, the type of deliverables, and for whom, because it's kind of a wide market. It's not just aircraft manufacturers, it's flight schools, it's everything in between. And so they tell you that, and then they show you, for credibility, logos of clients. All right, and this is my favorite part, actually, of this site. Scroll down past the actual examples to the virtues of a virtual team. Now, for anyone who questions whether Gorman 360 is robust enough to handle the work of a large corporation, Gorman makes it very succinct and a strong benefit-oriented argument for why a virtual team, and he's got 11 people here. You can find out a little bit more about each of them. But for why a virtual team makes more sense for everyone involved. And I'll just read it. A traditional ad agency is nothing more than a building full of people, most of whom don't work on your business, and all of whom you end up paying for one way or another. Gorman 360 is an on-demand team of independent aviation advertising experts, including 5 pilots. When you need them, they're yours. When you don't pay for them. So Jim Gorman is a writer, and he wrote that, and it's beautiful. And it really is focused, and anyone who's trying to decide, should we hire them or should we go with a larger agency, will probably choose them. All right, so let's go back to marketing-mentor.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you can apply these ideas to your own homepage. If you ever want to talk about it with me, take advantage of my free 30-minute mentoring session just by clicking on that contact form right there. And you can always sign up for my quick tips from Marketing Mentor. All right, come back for the next one, and we'll see you soon.